I have to look into the camera. We are going to be doing, shut up, practice for,
Practice for what?
with Booleans.
What's a Boolean?
We did this Monday. A Boolean is a true or false value.
What? What's the value? What's the difference between a Boolean and if-then?
What is true is if everything's false.
Why can't you just say
Stop!
true,
Stop!
not false?
Stop! No. Okay. Just no. So a Boolean.
Is there a yes?
No, there is no yes.
Then is there nothing?
Yes.
But you said there's no yes.
There is a nothing. But
that's a positive.
Is that a Boolean?
no, oh
Please
God.
don't beat me.
You stop him. Okay. So a Boolean is a true or false value that we can use with statements like the if statement, and we can use it for conditional logic where based on a condition you can execute some code, and if the condition is false you can execute some other code.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to write a simple program that if you tell it hi, it will tell you hi back. Yeah. So we're going to get out of here. So first we're going to create a string that will hold whatever the person types into the program. So we'll write string. Okay, so what we do here in this line is okay, that didn't help. We say string my string is equal to console.readline. So console.readline is the function that gives you whatever the user inputs into the console.
Can you repeat that part about console.readline again?
Console.readline is a function or method that returns whatever the person types into the console. So if you type something and then press enter, this string will be equal to whatever they typed, or you typed. Okay, so now if we wanted to check if this is working, we could do what did it do? Oh God, it changed it. Okay, so if we were to run this and type something into the console, say hello, it will tell you hello.
Hello.
Hello. If you were to type something else though, like stuff, it'll just say that. So what we can do is use those checks that we learned on Monday, which are So we can, yeah. Okay, so we can use these operators, equals, and, or, and not, to we can use those to check what the user is typing into the console. So if I want to say hello if the person says hi, and hi if the person says hello, we can then use the if statement and so if I wanted to check if the person said hi, what do you think it should, which operator do you think I should use?
I don't know.
You can look at the board.
Equals?
Yes. So if my string equals, and what do you want it to be? It'll be hi. If it's hi, then we can take this and put it in there. So now if we were to type hi, so we're checking if my string is the same as hi, then we write hello to the console. Stop touch. I can't see. Okay. So now we can introduce more complicated things, like doing the opposite, or like figuring out if the user entered a number or something. So you forgot to close this, so you need a closing bracket. So click there. Yeah. So remember that indentation is important. So you can see here that the if statement has a closing bracket down here after console.writeLine. And if you keep your indentation consistent, it'll be easy to spot mistakes like that. Theodore, close it.
That's just what I was doing.
Sure. Okay. So now we can make it say anything if we enter something else. So, Devin, what do you think we should make it say?
For the console.writeLine one?
Either.
Devin is the best and greatest person in the entire world.
Okay, let's not do that.
No. It's only Devin. They can't be two best.
Richard Nixon was not a crook.
Nixon was framed.
Okay. Let's do, if they enter a number greater than 5, it'll say it's greater than 5.
No, that's boring.
obvious.
If it's greater
So-
than 5, say Devin is the best.
So, we can say,
Wait, so the if, but the if statement is a Boolean, right?
the if statement is a statement that checks a Boolean value. So the equals operator returns a Boolean value.
I guess.
It is...
But you haven't set it to do anything if it's false, right?
No. So it wouldn't do anything at all.
Wait, how do you write in the console again?
What?
You see the little arrow?
No, like if I had already written something.
Just click run, and then it resets.
Yeah. So you can reset it by clicking run again.
What's the difference between int 1632 and 64?
Those are...
Value or something.
Okay, I can use something else.
I just wanted to know more.
Those are different sizes of integers, so 16 bits, 32 bits, 64 bits. Okay, so here we were saying int I is equal to int.parse my string. So parse is a function that will take a string, and if it's a number, it'll give you that number. So now we can take this number and use it with our relational operators, which are if it's less than or equal to, you put an equal sign after it. So now if we wanted to check if I is greater than 5, we can say if I is greater than 5. So now in the statement, we're using the relational operator greater than. And so that also resolves to a Boolean value. So if I was 27, I is greater than 5 is true. And then inside this if statement, you can put console.writeLine I is greater than 5. So so if you were to input a number, say 27, it would be true. And it writes I is greater than 5 to the console. Did you have a question?
You could also have it say your integer int I plus in quotes is greater than 5. Like to just say your integer, like 27 is greater than 5.
Yeah, you can use I plus that string, and so this would make a string that has the number and then is greater than 5. Okay, so now we have a problem. If we were to put a number, say 1, into it, it just says nothing. And in some cases we might not want that. If we want it to say I is less than 5, we'd have to use what is called an else statement. More often than not, it's called an if-else statement, because else is only used with if statements. And so after the if statement, we add a second block that says else, and inside this block is the code that will run if the condition is false. So if I is greater than 5 is false, only the code in the else block will run. So if you were to put console.write line I is less than or equal to 5, then if we were to put in 1, it would print just the second line. Do any of you have any questions? Where did they go? Just left. Okay. So moving on. Let's figure out if a number is even. So, what do you know about all even numbers?
They can be divided by 2.
Yes, they can be divided by 2. So if a number can be divided by 2, what's its remainder when divided by 2?
Even number is divided by 2.
What's the remainder?
There is a
There is no remainder. So the remainder is 0. So if you were to try to see if a number is divisible by 2, that means its remainder is 0. So if we were to use the modulo operator, which gives us the remainder, that would be if I modulo 2 is equal to 0, we can say I modulo 2 is even. Wait, what? Okay, if I modulo 2 is 0, then I is even. Because if I divided by 2 has a remainder of 0, then it's even. So if we were to have 22 divided by 2, that would be 11 with a remainder of 0. But if we were to have, say, 3 divided by 2, that's 1 with a remainder of 1. Yeah. And so, if we were to take a look at the expression we have in the parentheses of our if statement, we have I modulo 2 equals 0. And so this gets us into precedence. So precedence is the order that our operators are used. So the equals check has one of the lowest precedences, so it's done last. Whereas the modulo has a very high precedence, so it's one of the first things to be executed. So it first checks if I is divisible by 2, so just this portion. So it does I modulo 2 and then checks if the result is equal to 0. In some cases you might have addition and multiplication that you want to happen in different orders, and you need to remember that multiplication has a higher precedence than addition. Yeah. Basically, it follows order of operations, PEMDAS, so you'll need to add parentheses in some cases. Yeah. Okay. And now you can use the operators up here, such as the and or not, to modify this. So if we wanted it to write only if it's odd, then we could say if the remainder is not equal to 0. That is the not equals sign. And then in that case, we would say I is odd. Do you have any questions?
Yes, what did I miss?
We're doing this.
Where were you at?
Do you have any questions? Do you have?
I can't remember.
Okay.
What is there such a thing as an then statement? There's like if then also, right?
In some other languages, they separate if into if then. So in other languages, you'd have if and then everything here in parentheses. And then as a separate part, they have the word then, and that would be everything within the two curly brackets. And then else, there's an example of that up here. Yeah. So, the percent is modulo. It's the remainder after division. Okay, so since we're doing this, okay, so let's do a practice problem. Oh, sorry, I was gonna poke you in the head. So let's do a practice problem, Theodore. You can get me on the computer. So we're going to do using these two lines that we have already to get the string from the user and then turn it into an integer. We're going to write something to the console if x is even and y is odd. And okay, I'll write this out. So we will get two strings from the user, and we'll say okay, so we're going to get two strings from the user, and they're named xstring and ystring. And then we're going to create two integers from that are x and y. And then do our check on it. You can make your life easier by writing it once and then Control C and Control V. Parse means to kind of like translate. It's a function that takes a string and converts it to an integer. I kind of went over this before. Okay. Yes. Okay. Wait, he told you? Okay, so now that we have these two integers, we're going to write the word yes to the console if x is even and y is odd, or if y is even and x is odd. Okay, so if both are the same, then we don't write anything. So I will give this to you as a challenge. So you should start doing it. We will be back momentarily. Oh God. And I will come around to see how you guys are doing.
Anyway. Can you check my progress?
Yeah, it's good. What? You don't? Why are you converting it to a string? No, just if. You have two integers, x and y. So just x mod 2. So modulo is the result after division. So x mod 2 is the remainder after x is divided by 2. What are you doing? No.
Oh. Oh, that's right.
And you can't divide by 0. Divide by 2. Yeah. So x divided by 2, what's the remainder of that?
0.
So if you have to check if it's 0.
Am I doing this spot? What?
So this is a number. So we use the equals operator, 0. That returns Boolean.
Or do I have to make it separate?
So what are you trying to do?
Well, it says if x is even and y is odd.
So we have an operator for and.
Yo, right. What was it? I forgot.
2 ampersands.
2 m.
7.
This is an m%, right?
Yeah. No. On the 7.
So how would I like incorporate?
So if you have what? So if you have these two things, if you see 2 equal sign that returns Boolean, 2 equal sign that returns Boolean, so now you can just use an and between these. The reason it's having an error, you need another set of parentheses around all of that. Or you can just remove those parentheses in the middle.
Do I use space between the and?
It doesn't really matter. It's stylistic choice.
But my stylistic choice says this.
Wait, you need parentheses around the whole thing though. Yeah. So from here to there. Yeah.
So what's wrong with this?
And this is a string, so you need quotes. Okay.
Yeah, I did a challenge.
Okay, now you have to test it. Because you have to enter the numbers. So click there and type. It is 2 and symbols. It's above the 7. You shift and then you press 7.
Is this other thing?
There's one thing you're missing. That should be 2 equal signs. Right there.
Something else.
Well, I need one.
It's probably parentheses. So you see this parentheses closes with that one, and so all this is outside. So you can remove that one.
So this parentheses will close with this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it should. This doesn't do it, but usually when you use like software meant for this, like a program, like normally we'd use Visual Studio. If you click next to it, it'll highlight the other one.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I need help.
We'll be back. Okay.
I tried like this.
Yeah, if you don't enter a number or then it will cause an error.
So how would I fix it?
We'll learn that later with loops.
This is good, right?
No.
Why not?
You're only checking x.
So it's
If x is divisible by 2,
I
it
got
says
it.
nothing about y.
I got it.
yes, it does. It says no.
No,
Fine.
it doesn't mean anything about y. So if you enter 0 and 1 or 0 and 2, it'll say the same thing. Okay. So you're the closest.
Yeah.
There's two things wrong with this. So one is that you're only getting one string, but we're asking for 2 numbers. So you can copy this line again.
This one?
Yeah. And you just change the name. Hi. Okay, and then you can just change that there.
Oh, okay.
So now you have your 2 numbers.
And then if I enter like 1, what do I separate it by?
You press enter and then
Oh.
so you can. So if you enter 1, press enter, and then enter your second number.
You shouldn't write anything.
You shouldn't write anything.
And then if I do 2 and 1.
Well, actually, it should be printing something.
Oh my god.
So you saw in that first case, it should have printed yes, but it didn't. It means you're missing something.
The first case. Because I didn't do both of them.
So we're saying x is even and y is odd,
Yeah.
but there's a second case.
Oh.
Or.
Oh, you're talking. Oh.
So you can just
Copy this
add
whole
it.
thing and then like.
Or you can add it on here with the or operator, which would be this, the 2 vertical bars. Yes?
I think I got it.
Oh god. Oh god, Theodore.
Wait,
No.
I partially got it.
You're closer, but still so very far.
Yeah, it's pretty wrong right there.
Okay, and you were close, but you weren't exactly there.
What was wrong?
So you have one of the cases. So there's two cases. X is even and Y is odd. You got that. Or
So how would
the
I
opposite.
incorporate the or?
So now you can use the or operator, which is the vertical bar. We're doing an example. I'll show it on the board for the video, and then maybe a minute or two. Okay. So I will. Yes.
Is
Well,
that good enough?
No,
But isn't it? Aren't you just assuming x is the first number and y is the second number?
yes.
So what's wrong with this?
I mean, you're closer, but the point was to write in one if statement.
Well, there was an issue with this miscompiling odd and even. Because if you type in 1, then it's not equal. Because 1 divided by 2 does not have to be. You mean, while I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So can you counteract this problem? If you type in 1, then it's not going to happen.
Okay. This is supposed to be double equals.
You messed up my code.
And you have the same problem with your parentheses. This one closes with that one, and then all this is outside of that. So you can either no. So you're gonna have to put another parentheses there and a parentheses there. Yeah, that's it. So that closes with.
yeah, that means
Okay, so that's a curly. There's one more problem. That's curly.
So this one is extra?
Actually, that should not be there.
And still,
what is that close with?
close with this.
No, what's this one? This closing parentheses close with.
Close with, oh, I need another one. But still,
Okay, so you should put one here,
wait, what one?
opening one here, and that should close with this one here, and then this is or that one opens, that one closes, so you should have one more closing to close that first one. And that's good. I'm gonna show that for the camera. I already wrote it. Okay, Theodore, get out of the way.
No.
So,
My beautiful CCTV.
okay, we have finished here in class. You can check this when you've finished doing it yourself, if you choose to. But here's the answer.
Are you telling me you can just copy the thing?
I'll have it show it on the screen, maybe? I don't know. So here's the answer. We check. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. So this will appear on the screen, but first we check if x is divisible by 2 with x mod 2 is equal to 0, and we AND that with y is divisible by 2 is not equal to 0, meaning it's odd, and we take that entire thing and OR it with x is divisible by 2, x divided by 2, the remainder is not 0, so that means it's odd, and x is divisible by 2, meaning it's even. And if all that is true, then we write yes to the console. That is basically it. End of lesson.